Imagine a power that ruled the planet, a power that didn't just win wars, it wrote the rules of war. Its engineering defied the impossible. Its armies were invincible, and its economy was the most immense wealth machine the world had ever seen. So, how did it die? We're told in school that barbarians destroyed it. Swords and shields. That's not the real story. The barbarians, they just pushed over a giant that was already dying. Rome's collapse didn't start on a battlefield. It started here, in the money in your pocket. This is the true story of an empire destroyed not by the sword, but by its cash. Rome wasn't just an empire. It was the most successful corporation in history. And its business model was brutally simple. Conquer. Every new land was an asset. New gold, new taxes, new slaves, fresh blood to fuel the engine. The roads and sea networks were the arteries, moving this plunder back to the heart. As long as the money flowed, Rome was unstoppable. But this model had an expiration date, because this wasn't a wealth machine. It was an addiction, and an empire cannot expand forever under Emperor Trajan. Rome hit the end of the world. The product, new land to conquer, ran out. And in that moment, the clock started ticking. No new gold was coming in, but the expenses were growing. You had to guard 7,000 kilometers of frontiers. Rome had built a lifestyle that required infinite growth. And the moment growth stopped, the system cracked. If you can't earn more money, what do? You make more money. This is the denarius, its era's dollar, pure silver, a symbol of trust. But emperors grew desperate to pay soldiers and massive projects, and they discovered a secret. They could quietly reduce the silver and mix in cheap base metal. It was one of the greatest scams in history. They were poisoning the money in their own people's pockets. The result? Prices exploded. A soldier's salary, once a fortune, could barely buy bread. Trust evaporated. Trade stopped. The world's greatest economy was running on fake money. The poison spread fast. Farmers, forced to pay taxes in this worthless money, abandoned their fields. Empty fields mean starvation. Empty fields mean zero tax revenue. And the one thing holding it all together, the army, was now an impossibly expensive burden. Rome was spending half its entire budget just to survive. They were trying to protect a bankrupt company from a hostile takeover. When the money dies, loyalty dies with it. This wasn't a government. It was a blood feud. 26 emperors in 50 years. Nearly all of them murdered. Every general saw a chance to claim the throne. Governors stole tax money. Emperors bribed soldiers for loyalty. The empire was eating itself from the inside. The body was so sick, it split in two. The East, Byzantium, was the wealthy part, controlling trade, stable. The West? The West was left with the debts, the collapsing borders, the empty fields, and the poisoned money. The Western Roman Empire was no longer an empire. It was a zombie, walking, but already dead. So, what about the barbarians? The ones who destroyed the empire? When they arrived in the 5th century, what did they find? Not a superpower. They found empty cities. They found worthless coins. And they found legions that refused to fight because they hadn't been paid. Rome was so desperate it started paying other barbarians to defend the empire. When the last emperor was removed in 476 AD, Rome wasn't conquered, it was liquidated, because economically, it had died decades earlier. The autopsy of Rome is complete. Cause of death, economic suicide. And this isn't just an ancient history lesson, it's a mirror. Uncontrolled military spending, debased currencies, unsustainable debt. The story of Rome is a warning. It reminds us that the greatest empires can fall not from an outside enemy, but from inside. The question is, do we have the courage to look in that mirror?